Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the We Believed You Paranormal Podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Michelle. New year, new me. Just kidding. New year, same bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's not like magic where, all this crap going on is just going to disappear.
Wait, coronavirus didn't go away on the 1st of January?
No, it didn't, unfortunately.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was praying and hoping, but no, didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, on the upside, I'm going to be 30 in like 24 hours. That's not an upside. Okay, so I actually have, I wouldn't call it an update, but I guess just like a little story. So I don't even, no, it's not even a story. Anyway, just listen. So, Max actually reached out to me last night, and she was listening to episode 12, and she said this. So I'm listening to episode 12, and your friend, Steven, if you guys don't remember, is talking about his grandma and the hooded figures. And all of a sudden, my Google Assistant types in ER on my Google Maps, and nearby hospital called St. Davis pops up. I just thought that was really weird because I'm the only one in my car, and I'm doing deliveries, and there's nobody else with me.
That's kind of creepy.
So we officially have a haunted podcast, and that's like all I ever dreamed of was to have a haunted podcast. And I hope that goes follow you guys home when you listen. Like that's my main goal of this.
And that's horrible. I'm doing everything in my power not to have anything come into my sanctuary.
I'm kidding. But I did. Max was like, I said a little prayer. I was like, I read your message and said a little prayer for you because, yeah, I definitely wouldn't want anything happening, sending anyone to St. David's Hospital. But it was a little creepy.
That would be bad.
Yeah. I will say a little prayer for all y'all listening.
I'm kind of excited about today's topic because it's something that I've been annoying about this entire time. Today is Stone Tape Theory Day, guys.
Woo! Insert applause clap sound.
So yeah, this is gonna be something that we want to try and do from now on. Just get like paranormal topics like stone tape theory and stuff like that, and try and talk about it, explain it. Maybe.
I was just gonna say, I feel a lot of times we might like throw out these words or theories that, I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, I would think that some of you guys know a little bit about the paranormal, but then there's some of you guys that maybe are just friends that are listening to support us, and you have no idea what, for example, stone tape theory is. So we just wanted to kind of do a little deep dive into it.
Confession. Sometimes some of the words Michelle throws out about, because she is way more into paranormal podcasts than I am. Some of the words that she throws out, I'm kind of like, cool, and I'll go with it, but I have no idea what she's talking about. So
good to
know. Help me too. All right. So stone tape theory is one that I am familiar with. I'm not an expert on it. I don't know everything about it, but I do know the basic concept of what stone tape theory is. So that's why I'm so annoying about it, because it's like the one thing that I know fairly well. Well, or like another topic would be like poltergeist. You know how poltergeist, people think that poltergeist are separate entities or separate ghosts or spirits or whatever, what have you, just messing with things. And it turns out that for the most part, they're actually the energy that someone living person is putting out that's causing.
Hey.
Yeah.
Save it for another episode, dude.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it.
I'll leave you on that note.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was just going to say that it'd be or something that we want to do too, is to do a little survey on Instagram and give you guys 2 topics, and you guys can help us choose what topic we'll kind of deep dive into. We don't have a name either for what we want to call these episodes. Right now, we're just calling them topic episodes. So if you have any ideas, also feel free to reach out and throw those ideas at us.
Yeah, guys, and make sure that when we do post that, vote. and let us know what you want to listen to, because then we're gonna talk about what we want to talk about, and that's not what this is about. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's about you guys and what you guys want to hear. So let us know in those Instagram topics or Facebook polls or whatever it is that we do post it, what you guys want to hear, what topics you want to hear about.
Okay. But today we're going to pick what we want to talk about.
It's more specifically what I want to talk about.
Exactly. But let's get started.
Alrighty.
So we did a little bit of research, and a lot of it is Wikipedia, but I actually did find a few other websites that I got information from. One really cool website just in general, but that had like really good article about stone tape theory, was theghostinmymachine.com. I really liked it. I'm going to have to go through this website too, and maybe I might get some of the topics for these episodes off of that, because there is a lot of really good information and it's written really, really well. So that's where we're getting most of this information from. So the history, it's kind of hard to trace because it hasn't always gone by stone tape theory. Research and theorists have been writing ideas about this theory for nearly 200 years, but only in the last 50 years, stone tape became the actual name or what it's known by.
Yeah, so so the idea that these elements are capable of storing human thoughts was actually only introduced by scholars in the 19th century. So that's like the 1800s. And they were trying to provide natural explanations for supernatural things, because that's what we humans do. We're always trying to explain things away. And why is this thing that I can't see or can't feel happening? So that was one of the reasons, that's one of the ways that stone tape started to kind of become a thing.
It kind of makes me sad that, well, I mean, I guess maybe we've made some progress, but that we've been trying to study the supernatural and the unknown for so long, and I feel like we haven't really gotten anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just that, other things have
evolved faster.
Yeah. And it's just, it's hard when, I don't know. I mean, I guess you're right, because other things aren't there. They're not visible. They can't be seen by people. And they've gotten,
discovered,
I guess, much faster. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess playing devil's advocate, somebody would say that just means that it's not real.
Yeah. I mean?
Mm-hmm. That the reason why we haven't advanced the science behind anything paranormal is because it doesn't exist, or because it's not real, or people would even say that it's been disproven. But I don't think that's the case, and I'm going to hold out hope that that's not the case, and that eventually somebody is going to come up with something that's going to be concrete. And I'm sure they're going to be met with backlash, like people who, like Isaac Newton when he was talking about gravity, or Galileo when he was saying about that the planets revolved around the sun and not around the earth. So but I mean, eventually I'm again hopeful that it'll.
Yeah. And I feel, well, yeah, I was gonna just say, I feel like sometimes religion kind of plays into it, where it's a no to talk to the other side, or anything coming from the other side is the devil or demonic, and situations like that. So, or if aliens existed, then all religion would just crumble, because what is what is life?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's always been the case too. Again, with this whole thing about all these scientists back in way back in the day, when they were first making these discoveries.
That's true.
The church was always trying to, suppress them or silence them and stuff like that. Not only that, then you also had normal people who didn't understand what was going on, also trying to be like, hey, no, that's not true. So
yeah,
I feel like it's just something that. It's a process, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and unfortunately, this is a process for this subject that hasn't, been able to progress. But I feel like at this point in time, we have so much technology and so much other knowledge in other areas that eventually we will figure something out.
Yeah. And you know, and I want to, I guess, not backtrack a little bit. I know that there have been countless studies and progress has been made. I just kind of put a general blanket on there, but I guess I just want more. So
Yeah,
for
no,
me,
of
it's not
course.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want, it's like you don't want people to have so much doubt, or like, I don't know. But again, I guess I feel like it's always going to be a thing. It's like people still disagree with evolution, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, come on.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
mean, paranormal research is just like a pseudoscience to everybody,
yeah,
and no one takes it seriously. So, therefore, maybe that's probably also what's slowing down progress.
yeah.
Um, but back in 1837, polymath Charles Babbage, he published this work on natural theology. I I'm just gonna tell you now, I'm very bad at pronouncing anything. English is my first language, and I still struggle sometimes. Um, but it was called the Ninth Bridgewater Tre-
Treaties.
Treatise.
Yeah, sure. We'll
Okay,
go
we'll
with
say that.
treaties.
Babbage speculated that spoken words leave permanent impressions in the air, even though they become inaudible after time. He suggested that it's possible due to transfer of motion between particles.
Another concept that stone tape theory was derived from was something called place memory. And early on, the Society for Physical Research, which we'll call SPR,
Psychical.
cyclical,
Psychical.
cyclical,
Cyclical.
cyclical. I think it's cyclical. We'll go with cyclical. So, Society for Psychical Research, we'll call
So
them
it's like
SPR.
psychic.
Yeah,
Psych.
psychical, but
Okay, you're saying it weird. Okay, go. You're
psychical.
probably right. You're probably right.
SPR. We'll just call them SPR for short. So anyway, that place memory was considered an explanation for the ghostly apparitions connected with certain places. Uh, Two of the SPR involved investigators, Edmund Gurney and Eleanor Sidgwick, presented views that certain buildings' materials are capable of storing records of past events, which can be played back later, hence stone tape theory. Or I guess at the time, again, it was called place memory, but that's why, another reason why it's called stone tape is because, it can be played back like a cassette tape, but by gifted individuals, not just by anyone. It's not like you could just random person go press play or something like that.
And by gifted individuals, we mean
Psychics or people who are sensitive to energies.
or gifted. What is that? Gifted in school.
Oh, gifted and talented.
Yeah, gifted and talented. That was real good for kids' psyche, right?
Yeah, I wasn't smart in elementary. Apparently, all my friends got put in gifted and talented, and I was not in gifted and talented.
It's okay. My teacher wanted me to take the test to see if I was dyslexic, so I think I am. Another 19th century idea associated with stone tape theory is actually psychometry. So again, all these, like, stone tape theory doesn't exist. So you got place memory and you have psychometry. And psychometry was a belief that it's possible to attain knowledge about history associated with an object through physical contact with it. And I will say too, a lot of psychics and mediums work this way, where holding the object of, let's say a lost loved one, like a shirt or their favorite toy or whatever it may be, you can kind of get some information because there is memories kind of attached to this object, or the person's energy is attached to this object too. Sometimes even I know for me, when I was, I guess, working on some skills, holding somebody's hand helped me get information a lot quicker than just sitting in front of them.
And then again, SPR, because they're apparently badasses in stone tape theory. They introduced in the 3940, around the time. It was introduced by the president at the time, the SPR president, H.H. Price. He was speculating that the psychic ether as a medium between spiritual and physical reality, which can enable objects to carry the memory traces and emotions experiences, which was what Michelle was talking about. Is like, so those objects, they have that energy in them and those memories in them. So when somebody touches them, they're able to pick up on that again, moving towards that stone tape theory kind of name. You know what I mean? These are the types of societies and stuff that we're talking about that we need more of, and hope that, can,
push it forward.
Yeah, get bigger and
Well,
uh-huh.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say SPR, like they have done a lot. If you guys ever want to just like just Google them really and check out their website and check out all the things that all the studies that they've done and all the information they've gotten. And that's what I'm saying is like I know research has been done. I know, all these things have come out, but people just view the paranormal as a pseudoscience, so it's not taken seriously, even though it's all done like scientific method has been done and it's been, reproduced over and over, but nobody wants to hear it. So, an archaeologist turned paranormal researcher, T.C. Lethbridge, claimed that past events can be stored in objects thanks to field energy. He claimed that past events can be stored in objects thanks to field energy that he believed surrounded streams, forests, or mountains. And if you've ever been out in nature, streams, forests, mountains, that's all magical. So I won't be surprised. It's field energy. His 1961 book, Ghost and Ghoul, popularized the idea, which allegedly could have inspired the creators of the 1972 BBC play, The Stone Tape. So according to Lethbridge, certain places associated with pain, suffering, or death were especially likely to hold the fields, and that it was even more pronounced in places with high humidity due to water molecules helping the process along. And if you guys remember with Tally's episode, when she was saying, she lives up in Michigan and with all the lakes and everything up there, I
rivers, basements.
Yeah, I just mentioned that water being a conduit, I guess, for paranormal activity. And I guess, energy, electricity, water, just perfect recipe for this kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so here we're getting closer to that famous theory. So because of the popularity of the play, the idea or the term stone tape was attributed to Lethbridge, who
inaccurately.
Yes, inaccurately. Because he believed that ghosts weren't spirits of like the deceased, but more so non-interactive recordings, some like movies, or like, how you see those like holograms. Excuse me. You know how you see those holograms in like Jurassic Park, the new ones. I don't know if you guys have seen the movies, like where they press it and the dinosaurs are there and like they look real, but they're not really. It's kind of like that. Like that would be what, he believed.
Yeah. British author Nigel. I told you. So as we mentioned before, there is in 1972 BBC did a play called The Stone Tape. I watched it. And you can watch it. It's actually free on YouTube. I can maybe add the link to that if you guys want to watch it when we post this video. It's 1972. It's British, so just keep all that in mind. It was interesting. It was fascinating. I was also watching Harry Potter at the same time and also taking notes. So somehow I managed, but it was good. Lots of 70s music.
Lots of British.
Lots of just lots of I was talking with a British accent by the end of the day. There's this guy in an alien costume that was all ridiculous. The scientists were trying to figure out a better material rather than magnetic tape because it's fragile and magnetic tape degrades. And one of the things that ended up happening was there's this room in this castle that they were using for research that one of the scientists saw an apparition and she heard screaming and she freaked out and told everybody, and then only certain people could hear this apparition screaming, and only certain people could see it. Like, it was literally so individualized. Some people couldn't see or hear anything at all, which is, I mean, pretty accurate to what we all experience, right? We talked about how only people who are sensitive or gifted, yes,
and talented
can.
Fuck you, GT.
That they're the only ones that can kind of experience it. And so they're trying to figure out, they wanted to essentially try to use stone tape theory to create some sort of like new form technology. So instead of watching a movie like on a TV screen or like playing it through, or putting it on a magnetic tape, somehow being able to like imprint it in a person's mind. And like, but obviously there's a demon involved. It all ended badly. But that was probably like,
as stories of demons do.
I mean, basically. And yeah, super sexist, pretty racist. If you take all that aside, it was a decent movie.
Also, I just want to say we don't condone sexism, we don't condone racism, and we don't condone 70s music. Guys in alien costumes are okay because Star Wars.
Yes, facts. That was like my only favorite part. It was interesting. I mean, if you guys want to see where stone tape kind of got its debut, stone tape theory, it was because of this. That's this. Now we have come full circle, and now it is now known as stone tape theory.
Stone tape theory.
No longer.
A lot better than calling it psychometry and calling it whatever else it was. What was it? Place memory. Place memory is kind of cool too, but stone tape theory just sounds so much cooler. Okay, so yeah, there's this guy, chemist more specifically, I don't want to disrespect the man, named Don Roberts, who wrote a book called Secret Language of Stone in the year I was born, 1988. I'm giving out a lot of information. I hope you guys do not fucking steal my identity. So he believed that minerals and crystals could absorb the electrical forces to store traces of memories associated with places, which is like why a lot of times too, guys, you hear like haunted mines and stuff like that, because a lot of these places have different materials such as lime and quartz and stuff like that in them. So it's believed that they get recorded into these materials.
And if you haven't realized too, I mean, there's quartz crystals in watches and computers. So everyone's like, quartz or crystals are bullshit, but it's like, well, a lot of your technology wouldn't work without it. So
so it's not, and again, it's not like these things can just be seen randomly and stuff like that. It sometimes it's unlocked like under certain circumstances. So for instance, I'm gonna reference an episode of Ghost Hunters. No, it's Ghost Adventures, sorry, where they were at a house that was like during the war, the Civil War. It had been like not a hospital, but a lot of the soldiers that were injured and stuff like that had been like taken in there, and they were tending to them. So I guess it got turned into like a makeshift hospital. And I believe there was still some blood in one of the floors from like way back then. So what they did was they got a bunch of these guys into that house dressed in Civil War attire, and they started like acting out like if they were shot and stuff like that. And during that, they started they like this little like skit go on, and then they completely stopped everything. And they just started recording to see if they got any kind of like anything. And they did catch some EVPs and stuff like that. And again, this goes back to like the stone tape theory, which under those certain circumstances can trigger these things to happen. So when they formed a direct connection with the human brain, these instances, he called this the macro chip. So, and then in 1989, researcher, now I'm gonna butcher this name, Cyril. Anyway, Cyril Smith and Simon Best wrote this called Electromagnetic Man, which basically they're saying that when we die, the whole entity or the whole of the person their whole acquired, quote unquote, acquired information field must become separate from the body, which is like about to like start to degrade and stuff like that. And I guess what they're trying to say is, because the body's going to start to decay, and and the acquired information has nowhere to go, it kind of absorbs into the material world. So that's why you get, again, that stone tape effect, where this energy has nowhere to go. It's about to be released, and so it like attaches to the closest object that is there. So it just doesn't disappear or go off into the nothingness, I guess. So yeah. So again, and it can the information can be written, quote unquote, again onto like Michelle said earlier, water, stone, brick of the building or outside. Like if somebody was murdered or somebody dies in the forest or in a building, like again, going back to the episode where that person died and their blood was still in the wood, you make those prints or that recording onto those objects.
You know, I have an obsession with crystals and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was this one facts. Maybe one day I'll post a picture of my crystal collection and my crystal skulls in particular, because those are my favorite. If you love me, buy me crystals. If you're hearing this, send crystals. Just kidding. I'm not. Anyway, there's a type of quartz that reminds me a lot of stone tape theory. It's called Lemurian quartz, and if you guys, this would be a really good topic to kind of deep dive into. Would be the Lemurians, not it'd be the Lemurians. They were. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because now I'm kind of like I want to do an episode, but just think Atlantis and the Atlanteans, right? I mean, spiritually developed, peaceful civilization don't exist anymore. That's all I'll say for now.
I was gonna say, for you gamers out there, think the ones that came before from Assassin's Creed, but they definitely were not all peaceful. So scratch that.
Just spiritually developed situation or civilization. I know words. But anyway, so because their civilization kind of crumbled and became non-existent before they became non-existent, or depending on what you believe, left to other planets. They left these pieces of quartz that it teaches their messages of oneness and healing. But the really cool thing, or how you kind of know it's a Lemurian quartz, is if you take a look at it, and I'll try and post a picture of it also on Instagram so that you guys can kind of see. But on all the sides, it's just smooth like a regular quartz point would be. But on one side, it's almost like it looks like a barcode, basically. It's just got a whole bunch of different grooves or like not dashes, but lines going across.
Well, I am here, so you could show it to me.
I could. Let's see. Okay. Can you kind of see?
Yeah, I see it. You know what it also
see how it's like smooth, and then
inside it looks like it's got a barcode. Or what it also looks like is when they print out, like when they do DNA tests, when they print out the sheets, that's actually kind of what the sequences on the sheet look like. So it almost looks like DNA imprinted on there as well.
Well, there you go. If you're in the medical field, looks like DNA. If you're not, it looks like a barcode.
I mean, it looks like a barcode too.
Yeah. But I mean, basically the gist of it is when you're meditating, you're holding this piece of Lemurian quartz and kind of just running your thumb up and down the grooves. And that's how you receive the messages that they programmed into the crystals. Again, if you don't believe in crystals, it's just a rock with grooves. But give it a try.
If you do, aliens.
It also, I guess, the legend of the Lemurian seed crystals is that they're planted in a grid pattern over the surface of the earth, and beyond to other stars and dimensions. So I'm telling you, like when they knew their time was up here, or like their whole civilization was just gonna like implode on itself because technology, they started basically what we're trying to do right now, because we know that Earth is gonna just implode on itself. So Elon Musk is like, rockets to Mars is essentially what the Lemurians were trying to do. But I don't want to talk too much about them. That's kind of the gist of what Lemurian quartz is. It's really interesting. Go buy crystals.
I have 2 crystals that my sister gave me.
What are they, brother?
Amethyst, which is also my birthstone. Again, I'm giving out a lot of information here, guys. And oh my god, I just said it the other day and now I just left my brain. Selenite.
Yeah, selenite. Oh my god.
And then I have a black. Oh, I think we discussed this in that one episode where we did the cleansing of the house. The black, was it tourmaline?
Tourmaline?
Tourmaline, yeah, around the 4 corners of the house.
And 4 pieces of selenite on the inside. Do you remember
4
that?
Pieces? Where the hell did we put those? Oh yeah, I don't even know where the fuck all that stuff is at.
I bet you swept them away and threw them away and didn't even realize.
I hope not.
No, you probably did, because I put inside the bedroom and then in the living room where the dogs are.
Oh yeah, then probably,
and
yeah,
then,
for sure.
No, I know. So I'm telling you.
Well,
I mean, now your house isn't protected.
No, it is. Because the black tourmaline's been fucking doing magic, dude. I swear. Yeah. Point is, it probably did get swept away. And if that needs to be there for the protection to be fully like working instead of just a black tourmaline, then I am fucked. But I mean, I haven't had any experiences, so yeah, it's working. I say it's working.
I know. I'm just kidding. It is. I did it. Come on. I can't even keep my own freaking house or apartment protected from ghosts, apparently.
That's because you wasted all your magic here.
I did.
So in summary, guys, finally we get to the stone tape theory. So in summary, it's a speculation that the ghosts and hauntings that we do experience are just analogs. They're analogs. There's tape recordings, and that the mental impressions during, like, again, emotional or traumatic events can be projected in the form of energy, recorded onto the rocks, and then replayed later on
by gifted and talented.
Fucking gifted and talented, just motherfuckers. Anyway, the basic concept is now it's known as stone tape theory, which again boils down to whether due to construction, which we talked about, again, those unfinished basements, geological makeup, again, in Tally's episode, we talked about the rivers running through and stuff like that, and or other unknown factors have the ability to store these mental energy or psychic impressions from certain past events. Again, another something, recording them in like images on film. Again, we also want to remember, we've talked about before, the Fort Brown, which is where the university is at. Again, because of all the traumatic things that have happened in that place, people have experienced a lot of paranormal activity in those areas. And also, there's also forts in Matamoros too, where people have experienced things as well. So these, again, they're not always visible to everyone, and only again appear to sensitive people, and that they're keyed in somehow. So I guess it could also be like, I guess, a loved one of somebody, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Could like if maybe not everybody can see it, but then just that one person specifically, again, going back to another episode on Ghost Adventures, they were in like this jail where this man had been murdered. He was a warden or something like that, and I think the only person who had seen him was or one of the people that had experienced him was the daughter. So again, and it also depends on the exact place and the proper physical properties that hold it. So again, quartz, crystalline rock, granite, limestone are said to be some of the most conductive or conducive to storing these kinds of memories for stone tape. And again, like Michelle was saying, quartz is in watches. Granite, I mean,
Has quartz.
yeah. And a lot of people have granite countertops and stuff at home. Well, not a lot of people, but people who have money for that kind of shit. They have granite countertops and stuff like that. Limestone. It's out there, guys. I mean, and again, this also the mines and stuff like that. That's why there's so many haunted mines, because a lot of these places have a lot of this stuff buried deep inside, and not so deep. But yes, I'm glad that we finally got this off of my chest. Does this mean I'm going to stop talking about stone tape?
Oh, no.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
But at least now you have an idea of what we're talking about when I mentioned stone tape theory.
Yeah. So, what topic do you guys want to hear next? Now I'm kind of like, oh, well, maybe we should talk about the Lemurians. But I don't know. We'll see. I will say, we can do poltergeist too. We can do demonology. We can also talk about the Pleiadians.
The Watchers.
The Watchers. Yeah, I mean,
the Warrens.
Oh, okay. I have I just read The Demonologist. I can go on and on and on. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to choose from, guys. If there's a topic that you guys just like, then let's talk about it. Reach out to us and let us know. If there's something that you kind of know about, but you don't really want to do the Google research for it, let us know. We will do the research for you. It's just going to be Wikipedia. I'm just kidding. We'll do deep dives. Maybe. Yeah, and I will say, guys, we're still going to be interviewing people. We still want your stories. We still want to talk to you. It's just that we felt, one, we kept throwing out these theories or words that maybe not everyone knows about, and we kind of felt like we're leaving you out of this conversation. Also, we kind of want to just do deep dives into it and get more educated ourselves.
Another part of the another reason why we started this podcast or wanted to do this podcast was because we wanted to become more informed ourselves and also help inform more people about different topics in the paranormal. Because again, like we said, we want this to become a thing. We want this to become, not just a pseudoscience that, people dismiss, so if that includes us sharing information from other people who have done research and stuff like that, then I mean, we'll be happy to put that out there so more people can become aware of what's out there and the research and stuff, that the knowledge that is out there.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to be able to do this once a month, like once at the beginning of the month. We're still going to be doing listener stories. Again, we're still going to be interviewing. But here's the other thing: you guys have to be able to reach out to us. So send us your stories if you don't want to be recorded. If you do want to be recorded, reach out so we can set up a time. I will say we had someone reach out to us and send us some of their books.
Oh yeah.
And this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm like eating this up. I'm Carlos saw me reading it and he's like, "Is it dense?" I'm like, "No." I'm kind of surprised that I know exactly everything that he's talking about, and I don't know. It made me feel some type of way.
Which is going to be a treat for me because I heard an interview with him and I was completely lost. So this will be very informative for me.
So, I mean, and that was okay. So that was a really cool thing. Can I just like talk about that? Because I was like super excited. So I had that person reach out and I needed to, do some internet stalking to figure out like what he's all about. And I had seen in one of the Amazon comment or reviews that they had heard him on the podcast. And so that's why they bought the book. I'm like, okay, so he's been on a podcast. So I'm researching some more. And when I go back to his site or to his Instagram, I saw that a podcast that I listened to called Mysterious Radio followed him back and then realized that I had already listened to him on Mysterious Radio. Like, I've heard his interview, I've heard him speak. So if we can get him on, I don't know, it'd be exciting for me to, I can get pretty like in down to wormholes of stuff. So it's right up my alley.
Basically what she's saying is that might be a 2-part episode because we might go on for like 2 or 3 hours.
I honestly was thinking about that because he does have multiple books and he talks about a lot of things. So I mean, one episode could be over, you know, ghosts and angels and all that stuff, and the other can be over ETs. That's the awesome thing about this guy, is that he's got a lot going on. So yeah, it'll be fun.
So yeah, I mean, I'm actually really excited because I mean, we're still growing, obviously. Some episodes do better than others. I don't know if that's because that's probably on us. But we are growing. We have seen a lot of growth in our followers, both in Instagram and Facebook. Again, it is slow growth, but hey, for us, you know, having over 200 people following us on Facebook, and I don't even know how many people on Instagram.
And we had 500 downloads.
Yeah, we just reached our 500 download mark, which again, for a big podcast is like, yeah, we get 500 downloads in like an hour. It's like, well, you know, it took us 3 months to get 500 downloads, but we got there. And I mean, eventually I guess the goal would be to be able to get 500 downloads in an hour, but we do appreciate you guys for everything you do. Also, I wanted to say that we have all our links up on Instagram and on Facebook, but we just recently got into Amazon Music. So you can find us on Amazon Music now, and you can also find us on Audible. So if you have an Audible, even if you don't have an Audible subscription, it's free. So you can literally just go on Audible and find us, find our podcast on there, and on Amazon Music now too. Also, don't forget to 5 stars on Apple Podcast and leave a review, because that also helps us go up in the ranks as far as podcasts are concerned. And if you want to reach out to us, guys, send us your stories, comment what you want to hear about. Do these polls that we're eventually gonna post. You can get us on Instagram at We Believe You Podcast. On Twitter, it's at WBDY Podcast. On Facebook, we're We Believe You with a question mark. And our email address is webelievedyou@gmail.com. Send those stories in, guys, because without those stories, we cannot do listener stories and also these topics. We want to hear what you guys want to listen to, not just what we want to talk about, because we believe.
Do you?